We're live. Welcome to our live fan chat. About to get in some in-depth stuff with you guys right now. What are we talking about?
All right. Well, first question is from Michelle off Facebook. Who are some of your favorite country artists to listen to right now?
Some of my favorite country artists to listen to right now are, I like Kane Brown. I like Luke Combs. I like John Party. I like Marin. I don't know. Those are kind of some of the sort of newer ones that I think are that are cool. So, I mean, some that I don't consider newer, like Thomas Reddy's been around for a while, but some of the like brand new ones are those guys, I think.
Um, Brittany from Facebook wants to know if you've got something on your bucket list that you would share. Do you have any items on your bucket list?
Do I have anything on my bucket list? I don't know. I had a lot of things on my bucket list, and I've crossed a lot of them off over the years. But one of them was to play a show at the Atlanta Braves stadium. That's one of my favorite baseball team, and we're actually going to get to check that one off this year. So that was one thing I hadn't done, but that I was looking forward to, and we get to do that this year. So that was definitely on my bucket list to do. So.
Nice. Nick wants to know what's your favorite song from Riverview Town, your new album.
Well, Nick, my favorite song from Riverview Town is probably the title track. It's probably Riverview Town. That's the one song I kind of find myself going back and listening to over and over. And I don't know, man, just something kind of cool about it. Kind of reminds me of Dead or Alive, the Bon Jovi song, and kind of has that minor chord, sort of dark, little darker feel to it. But I think that's probably my favorite, or at least the one I listen to the most on that record.
Kim wants to know what your favorite meal is. What do you like to eat?
My favorite meal, I got a lot of things I like to eat. I've become a big fan of sushi over the years, which I never thought I'd eat raw fish, but pretty good. And the other thing I love is oysters. So going down into Florida or whatever, and usually when I go down there, I kind of stock up on oysters, and I could eat that every day. So that's one of my favorites. But if it's like home cooked meal, it's like fried chicken and mashed potatoes and butter beans, like that. My mom's cooking. That's pretty good.
Tanya wants to know how it is traveling with Baby Memphis.
Traveling with Memphis is it's been interesting. I mean, he's only gone on a few trips because the tour hasn't started yet. But usually, if we travel on the bus, we take him with us. We have him a bunk, like little crib type thing on the bus that he sleeps in, and But he's only really taken a couple road trips so far, so it's interesting. I mean, he's used to being at home in his bed and all that, and kind of having all his stuff. So once we take him out of there, it almost takes him a little, a couple days to adjust to it. But he's only 4 months old, so he's doing all right.
Justin's got a two-parter for you. He wants to know, how do you go about picking songs for your set list? And have you ever put your band on the spot and suggested them to play a song that wasn't planned?
Well, to answer the first part, I mean, the way we pick songs for the set list, it's a lot easier now that we have hits. I mean, the early days you were trying to pick album cuts and things like that just to sort of fill in the set when they weren't hits. And now we have enough hits where we can, put those in the show. And I try to play the things that I think people want to hear, and and maybe a few things off the new album that I think are possibly going to be a single down the road or whatever. But so that's kind of the way I think about putting a set list together. And then as far as springing a song on the band that they're not sure we're about to play, I don't typically do that, just because a lot of the songs that we play are in really weird tunings. Like, all of our guitars are tuned different. They're not always standard tune. They're tuned down or whatever. So a lot of times if you do that, it sort of, everybody has to, it takes guitar changes. Like, we need different guitars to play different stuff. So I can't really do that anymore. I used to, we were playing clubs, I'd spring songs on them, but I don't really do that anymore. We kind of have our set, and we have to stick to it because you have lighting cues and you have all kind of stuff that sort of go along with the show that you can't really venture out and sort of, get off script too much.
John wants to know what your favorite part about touring is.
My favorite part about touring, I think is just uh, traveling and sort of, getting a chance to hang out with my band. I mean, those guys are some of my best friends, so I get the chance to hang out with them. And I always said it was kind of like a traveling fraternity. And, it's fun. I mean, it's fun being out there, being in the dressing room and hanging on the buses and all that with those guys. I mean, we laugh a lot and, always have a good time. So it's fun. And, I enjoy that. I enjoy seeing new places and meeting people. And, so the traveling part of it is a lot of fun. Then obviously, I mean, being on stage and playing the show and entertaining people is sort of the icing on the cake of everything. But, it's just a fun time.
Anthony says he enjoys your work, man. He is a fellow.
Thanks, man.
He's a fellow singer-songwriter based in Nashville, and he wants to know, how do you adjust to all the traveling to different climates and keep your voice going through touring?
That's a good question, actually, and it's tough. I mean, like right now we're in Vegas, and out here the air's dry, so your vocal cords and your throat stays really dry, and a lot of times I'll get in the shower here and just sort of, all the showers have steamers here, so I'll just get in there and just, soak up the steam and let it, get in my throat. And but it's tough. I mean, it's cold. You go up north and it's cold, and the drier the air is, the worse it is for a singer. So for me, when we're in the south and there's more humidity, it's actually better. So it's tough. I mean, sometimes you have humidifiers in your bus, or like I said, here they have steamers in the rooms in the showers. So you just try to take advantage of it. I mean, those are little things you can do to help out, but it's tough. I mean, allergy season, which is right now, is always a hard one, because it's if your head gets clogged up or whatever, that stuff drains down into your throat and it makes it hard to sing. So that's kind of a constant struggle sometimes.
Cool. Raven says, I know you're a fan of The Walking Dead, so she's curious, who is yours and Brittany's, if you know, favorite character on The Walking Dead?
Our favorite character on The Walking Dead, this is my favorite character, and I think it probably is hers too, but I like Daryl Dixon. I like him, old crossbow Daryl. I don't know, he's probably my favorite. Norman Reedus. I actually met him at a hotel out in L.A., right when that show was starting to take off, and I had just started watching it, and got a chance to talk to him for a little while, and really cool guy.
Mitchell wants to know, what is one of the people you most admired growing up?
One of the people I most admired growing up, I think, my parents, but my mom, especially, probably because she was a single mom and sort of raising me on her own, and she just, everything she did sort of revolved around me, whether I was playing ball, or when I started playing music, or whatever I had going on, man. Her world kind of revolved around whatever I was doing, and as a single parent, doing it on her own was kind of tough, so I had a lot of admiration for her, for sure.
Lauren says, I'm a big believer that music truly heals the soul. As a musician, I would imagine that you are too. When you're feeling a certain way, whose music do you turn to for an instant pick-me-up?
I don't know, man. I think that's the beauty of music, is like there's always a song to reflect whatever you're going through. I think that's the reason people love music. It's like if they're falling in love, they hear a love song and they just like, oh, that's their song. And if they're going through a breakup, they hear this heartache song and that's their, they can relate to that. If they want to go have some fun on the weekend and they're partying with their friends, like there's songs for that. So, I think it really just kind of depends on what mood you're in and what you're going through at the time. It kind of varies. So that's kind of a hard question for me to answer, but I completely understand where you're coming from on that. And I absolutely think music is great for the soul, for sure.
Nicholas wants to know, what's the favorite album you've ever recorded?
My favorite album I've ever recorded. That's tough, man. That's like asking me what my favorite kid is. You don't really have. They're all the same. You love them for different reasons. But I think obviously My Kind of Party was an album that was huge for my career. I mean, that was really the one that sent everything over the top and was sort of that really, defining moment of my career where, it was a huge album. I think it's going like quadruple platinum or something by now, which in this day and age in the music industry is crazy. So, so that one, it's hard for me to say it's my favorite, but that's one that I'm extremely proud of for sure.
All right, we've got one final question from Jacob. He wants to know, what song are you going to sing on the ACMs this weekend?
I ain't telling you, man. No, I'm kidding. We're doing "You Make It Easy," which is the first single from the new album "Review Town." Obviously, whenever there's a song that's a hit at the current time, and you play one of these shows, they want you to play that song because that's the song everybody knows right now, and so that's the one we're doing. And it's a lot of times we play these award shows, we play the sort of up tempo rocker banger type songs, and this one's kind of different. We get to it's a little more stripped down, and we're playing a ballad, which for us is kind of rare. So, but it's cool, man. It's been a big song, and thank you guys, everybody out there, for making this song so big for us and giving us a great song to kick off the album and get the album rolling. So thank you all, and tune in to the ACM Awards, and you can check it out live Sunday night.